There we go. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, the chair was like way too high for the actual thing. There's everyone. For the like, you know, whenever your chair's too like tall for the desk, I was like trying to figure out how to like lower it. So that way, there we go. Okay, now we're good. Sorry, I won't mess with it anymore. I hope everyone is having a great morning. I know it's pouring outside. Like I just looked out there. Oh my gosh, it's pouring. So, yes. I'm just going to let y'all clock in. Good morning, everyone. So I'm just looking at all y'all clocking in to make sure everyone is here and ready to go. For this live, all y'all are going to need are pencil and paper. We're just going to be going over some vocab, some introductory vocab to help out with a lot of the, to help out with, you know, kind of understanding it. Because I know sometimes I used to go to class and this teacher would just go super in depth with different, they would just go super in depth with like a huge word. And I had no idea what they were talking about from the very beginning because they would just go in depth and they wouldn't actually explain what it was. So we're going to do some introductory vocab today. It shouldn't take that long. And once I see that everyone is kind of clocked in, I'm going to also go over today's schedule. So that way there's no confusion and everyone knows who to turn what into. Because I know sometimes our emails are flooded and we sometimes don't get the schedule because, you know, your emails could be flooded or whatever. So we're going to go over that as well today. So. And Alicia, you got the glow recipe. Yes. Which one did you get? Did you get the moisturizer or did you get the watermelon mask? Because I have both of those and I love them both. So. And just to let y'all know, we have 16 vocab words. So not that many, like I said. So y'all will probably finish a little early, which is completely fine. So. Oh, she said I got both. Yes. Olivia also loves the watermelon mask. Yes, it's just so good. I like it. And it's not like whenever I use a lot of different masks, especially strong ones, like especially creamier ones, which aren't good for my skin anyways, they're just way too heavy. Like I just feel like my skin can't breathe. Allison said Brenna gave me her watermelon glow mask and it smells so good. Yes. Oh my gosh. And I was watching a video of how they actually made it. And it actually was made with like real watermelon. Like you saw them like, you know, the little like blenders. So they cut it and they put it in the blender and they actually blended like real watermelon. I was like, oh wow, you don't normally see that. Usually whenever it's watermelon scented, they just put like fake watermelon in there. So not fake watermelon, but watermelon extracts. So, okay, it is 10:05 and I kind of see that my comments are kind of getting lower and lower. So that means y'all are all here and ready. So let's talk about our schedule today. From 10 to 11, you have vocab with me. So all you need is a pen and paper ready. We are just going to, we're just going to go over 16 vocab words, easy peasy, nothing too hard, just so that way we can understand because the 12 to 1, you're going to be live with me and we're going to go over more in depth. This week, we're going to be learning about nutrition. So get ready for that. All week, we're going to be learning about nutrition and what's put in your body and what's good. So we're going to have a lot of fun stuff for you this week. So I'm excited. Allison, it warns you about the chunks because it's from actual fruit. Yes. I don't think you can eat it though. Okay, so the 12 to 1, like I said, we're going to be doing notes. So all you need is a pen and paper for that. So you're going to be doing a lot of note writing. We're going to be going in depth about nutrition. So that's why I'm saying we're going to do some introductory vocab. So that way we aren't lost in the note taking. From 2 to 4, you guys have no live and it is an assignment. You are going to handwrite a page on what nutrition means to you and how it affects your daily lives. So it's just what nutrition is for you. Pretty easy, handwritten, 1 page. Turn it in no later than 5 p.m. to Katie. And if you have any questions about today's schedule, just let me know in the Just let me know in the comments, you know, if y'all are a little confused on the directions or anything. So, and then 5 to 6, you have another assignment. So you're going to turn in your handwritten nutrition notes from the 12 to 1 live, and you're going to turn that in no later than 6 p.m. to Molly. So I think today is pretty easy, you know. Today's schedule is pretty easy. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So if you have any questions, just shoot in the comments on what to do. Everything is handwritten, so there's no questions about that. And it has the times on when to turn it in. So there's no exceptions on when to turn them in by that time. The 5 to 6, you have an hour to write the notes. So, and you should already have them written because the 12 to 1 kind of do that during the 12 to 1. So are there any questions? I'm going to give y'all a few seconds to kind of say some questions. I want to know what, you know, if we're confused on anything. So I'm going to give y'all a few seconds to comment. Serena said, y'all, it sounds good. So make sure we have some comments to make sure that everyone is doing okay. I see that. Yep, Kimberly said, okay, cool. So no one's confused about it. Everyone, you know who to turn it in. The 2 to 4 you send to Katie, no later than 5 p.m. The 5 to 6 you turn in no later than 6 p.m. You send that to Molly. 10 to 11 and 12 to 1 you have lives with me. So simple. And you take notes for both of them. So all good. So that is pretty easy. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, all of you need pen and paper. So we're going to start with number 1. Since we're talking about nutrition, I'm going to give you guys the definition of nutrition. So that is going to be your first vocab word. And I'm going to get my little whiteboard so that way you can see and write it as well. Do this so that way you guys can see. So nutrition, the first vocab word. The process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth. So that is the definition of nutrition. They had a lot of different ones because nutrition is technically a science as well. But for right now, we're talking about, you know, what we are putting into our body, why we're putting it in our body, and different things like that. So I honestly love nutrition because, you know, it's kind of fun to, you know, see the difference. Like, fun fact, did you know that you get most nutrients from a fruit or vegetable if it is fresh, not frozen or cooked? You actually cook out some of the nutrition and you freeze out some of the nutrition from fruits and vegetables whenever you freeze them or cook them. So the best way to eat them is fresh. So, nutrition. And let me know if I'm going a little too fast. Oh my goodness, I forgot to give you all the good news. We'll give it at the end. I have some good news for you guys. I completely forgot. I'm like, let's go. So, nutrition is number 1. The second vocab word we're going to talk about is protein. And then, so I'm gonna write it with you guys so that way I don't go too fast because that's my issue. I always go way too fast. Protein, and excuse my terrible handwriting. Protein. They are chains of amino acids amino acid amino acid molecules. Sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. Tools that carry out various functions required by our cells and body. Sorry, my handwriting is a little, I'm like trying to fix some of the stuff. So here is the definition for protein. And like I said, we're going to go more in depth with the 12 to 1. This is just introductory vocab. So that way, whenever we go more in depth, you're not like, what is that? But I don't understand. So we will go over protein. Protein is very, very important. If you are vegan or vegetarian, or there's a lot of different words. There's a lot of different words. Sorry, I was reading Allison's comment at the same time. Sometimes I like to do that. There's a lot of different, you know, you can eat, you can have different healthy lifestyles. So protein is very important. You need protein to live, and you will find that out in the 12 to 1 why and everything. But it's super, super important for all of us. And there's different ways to obtain protein, which I think is awesome. You can get it from, you know, nuts. You can get it from milk. So I think it's pretty cool how, you know, you don't just get protein from milk. So protein. Thank you, Allison, for helping out Miles. I love whenever y'all help each other out. I think it's wonderful that whenever everyone's just nice to each other. Okay, number 3 is macronutrients. Number 3. It's a huge word. I'm going to make sure I spell it correctly for you guys. They are the building blocks necessary for bodily functions, including the functionings of the skin. Macronutrients is the third one. Macronutrients, I love nutrition because it's not one of those subjects where we're like, why do we need to know this? Like, you need to know nutrition because for not only yourself, but sometimes for your client. Your client might be like, why isn't my hair growing? You know, all they eat is McDonald's fast food. So nutrition is another great thing to know. So macronutrients are the building blocks necessary for bodily functions, including the functioning of the skin. The fourth vocab word we're going to do, 4 out of 16, we're going to do is carbohydrates. I think everyone knows a little bit about them. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are mainly sugars. And starches together constituting one of the 3 principles types of nutrients used as energy sources. So carbohydrates are really awesome. They're also, if you ever heard of the word carbs, I know back in like the 70s and everything like that, they used to be like, oh, don't ever eat carbs. Don't ever eat carbs. Girl, that got carbs in it. Oh, no. And I would always wonder, why are y'all saying don't ever eat carbs? Like, why are y'all ever saying that? The funny thing about carbs is if you don't burn off the carbs, then they're an issue. So, yes, Baldwin Beauty School says they're mainly sugar and starches together, used as energy. Yes, that's a beautiful, short little definition, and that's what they are. They're just sugar and starches that are used for energy. So that is carbohydrates. Oh, Allison said, a girl once said, I'll be over my macros if I eat that, and I didn't know what she meant. Yeah, that's her macronutrients. Oh my gosh. Yeah, is butter a carb? Is that Mean Girls? Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. Jazzy, oh my gosh. Is butter a carb? Oh, Regina George. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Allison said, whatever, I'm getting cheese fries. Yes. Oh, I had hot dotties last night. Truffle fries. Wasn't good for me, but it's okay. I didn't feel like cooking. Okay, our fifth one is amino acids. Number 5 is amino acids. My gosh, I can hear the rain like through this like little tiny room. It's crazy. Victoria Pierce said, nah, it's a delicious fat. I will not give up my grass-fed butter. I worked on a dairy farm and I used to make butter all the time. Just scrape the cream off the top of like whole milk or on the top of raw milk, and then you just put it in a jar with some salt and shake it. And I used to sing a little butter churning song whenever I would do it. The more you know. Okay, amino acids, sorry. Amino acids are organic compounds that combine to form proteins. There we go, amino acids. Oh, Allison said, I want to hear the butter churning song. But the butter isn't that good for you. And we'll learn more about that from the 12 to 1, so stay tuned. So the butter churning, like butter's not good for you, but it was like, shake, shake, shake the butter. I completely forgot the song, but I used to sing it all the time. Whenever I'd have my mason jar, I was just shaking the little the little thing of milk. So amino acids are organic compounds that combine to form proteins. Think of like amino acids as bricks almost. They build up to form protein. All right, number 6 is glucose. I know we know a lot about glucose. For those of you who are plant lovers, you should know a lot about glucose. All right. Number 6 is glucose. Emily said, I used to have 2 bread and butter sandwiches a day as a kid, and I never even cared about. Yeah, I think everyone did that, honestly. Like grilled cheeses, like with just butter and cheese. Oh, yeah. Okay, so glucose. It's a simple sugar, which is an important energy source. in living organisms and is a component of many carbohydrates. So that is glucose. So glucose is just pretty much a sugar that gives us energy. This is a carb because, like we said, carbs are mainly sugars and starches. So glucose. Glucose is a simple sugar and which is an important energy source in living organisms, is a component of many carbohydrates. So fun fact, plants are just like glucose and chlorophyll. So, full fun fact. I know way too much about plants. Number 7 is a monosaccharide. Monosaccharide is number 7. No worries, I will spell it, Mary. It is MONOSACCHARIDE, monosaccharide. Because remember, like a lot of these bigger words, you can look at the prefix of everything. So mono means one. So mono meaning one. So that'll help with the definition a little bit. A monosaccharide is the simplest form of sugar. And is the most basic unit of carbohydrates. Because remember, remember that carbs are sugars. So monosaccharide is just the simplest form of the sugar. Remember, guys, I went over the schedule earlier, and this one you don't turn in the 12-to-1 notes, you turn into Molly. So, monosaccharide. See how I said like the prefixes, like mono can help you with definitions like this. So mono meaning one, so it is one sugar. And is the most basic carbohydrate. This live is just a participation live, just to kind of see, and also it's to help you guys out because the 12-to-1 is going to be a little bit harder if you do not understand this. So, number 8 is a disaccharide. And no worries, I will spell it because I'm an awful speller too. So disaccharide is D-I-S-A-C-C-A-R-I-D-E, disaccharide. A disaccharide, because remember, if we look at the prefix, di means, yes, Monica got it, it means two. So disaccharide. So the definition is any of a class of sugars whose molecules contain two monosaccharides residue. So, in the English language, prefixes, the prefix di means two. So, it is just basically, because remember, mono means one, so it's just basically a class of sugar that the monosaccharides, there's two of them, so it makes a disaccharide. Pretty simple. It's like math. 1 + 1 = 2. So it's just a class of sugar. This is another carbohydrate. So a disaccharide. Pretty simple. Yes, Baldwin-Butyl says sugars that contains two residues. Yep. As long as y'all are kind of understanding these bigger words, because even I was kind of like, monosaccharide, like that's a pretty, like, it's a pretty intense word. But then I was like, oh, look at the prefix. Oh, okay, it just means one. Okay, so number 9, polysaccharide. Remember, poly means more than two. Polysaccharide. And polysaccharide is spelled Polysaccharide. Polysaccharide. What a polysaccharide is it is a carbohydrate whose molecules consist of a number of sugar molecules bonded together. There we go. Polysaccharide is a carbohydrate whose molecules consist of a number of sugar molecules bonded together. So like I said, remember, poly means more than two. And guys, it's very, very important that you get these vocab words, not only just for yourself, but it's super, super important because if you don't understand what these are, the 12-to-1 lesson is going to be really, really hard to follow. And I'm just going to let y'all know it's going to be very, very hard to follow without knowing at least these vocab words. I'm not saying memorize them, but I'm saying at least be able to kind of understand what these are, or else the 12-to-1 is going to be very, very hard to understand. So a polysaccharide. Okay. Number 10 is going to be a simple sugar. It is a single sugar molecule. That's the definition. That's the definition, just a single sugar molecule. Boop. Okay. Just a simple sugar. So your monosaccharide and simple sugar are kind of like the same thing. It's just a simple, very, very simple sugar. Number 11 is starches. Mary Helen said that was the longest definition ever. I know. It was the longest definition ever. Oh, we have a celebrity guest right here. We're making celebrity cameos right now. So number 11 is starches. A starch is a carbohydrate that is the chief form of stored energy. Stored energy in plants, especially wheat, corn, rice, and potatoes. All right. That is a starch. So we are talking, remember how we said carbohydrates are simple sugars, and they are starches. So if any of you are eating right now, if y'all made eggs and potatoes, you are eating a starch. So they always say do your most carbohydrates and your most starches in the mornings for your breakfast, because you'll work them off throughout the day. If you do a lot of starches and carbohydrates at night, you won't work it off as well. So then, you'll start gaining more weight because you won't work off the starches and the carbohydrates. So starches. I'm gonna leave this one up here a little bit longer so y'all can do this. It's a little bit longer.
Yeah, you need to turn on the AC.
Please. You're sweating.
You just open the door to, there's no AC on in here. They just opened the door like a huge thing of breeze just came through. I'm like, didn't know how to turn on the AC.
So starches.
Do you want me to do all right for you?
That's okay. Look at my little fancy. Oh yeah, I want some nutrition.
Oh, that's good.
Number 12 is fructose.
Hi, Kathy. Good morning, guys.
So, fructose is a hextrose sugar found especially in honey and fruit. So fructose is a natural sugar. So it's the sugar that you eat in strawberries. It's the sugar that's in honey, aka bee throw up. I love honey, but it's truly bee throw up. if any of you know how honey is made. So fructose. It's just the So a hectose, honestly, it's just a type of sugar.
Mhm.
Yeah. I can feel the AC.
You're welcome. I bring full air with my icy heart. Okay, Elsa.
So that's what fructose is. It's a naturally forming sugar. Because whenever you eat fruits, that's why they say eat more vegetables than fruits, because fruits have natural sugar in them. Number 13 is ATP. It stands for adenosine triphosphate. So number 13 is ATP, and I will spell that out for you because that is hard to spell. It is ADENOSINE and then space triphosphate. TRIPHOSPHATE. I'm going to give you all the spelling real quick so you don't. So y'all kind of understand. ATP is very important. Very, very important. If you lose ATP, you pretty much lose all your energy. So ATP is the substance that provides cell energy. So number 13 is ATP. It is the substance that provides cell energy. ATP is really, really important. As we know, we have white blood cells and red blood cells. So without ATP, those blood cells wouldn't be able to do what they do. Remember from the circulatory live that we did, the red blood cells carry oxygen to and from the heart. So without ATP, they wouldn't have the energy, just like without monsters, half of you wouldn't even be awake right now. Monsters, coffee, and all that good stuff. So, yes, it provides the cell energy. And that's why whenever you haven't eaten in a while, you feel tired. So, Mary said such a big definition for a small word. Yes, it's kind of, there's no other way to explain it. This is because of this little guy. This is why y'all feel tired whenever you haven't eaten in a long time, or y'all get hangry because your cells are trying to overwork themselves because they don't have enough energy. So make sure you eat. I say to eat like you're supposed to eat like either a carrot or vegetable every 4 hours. You're not supposed to eat like a burger every 4 hours, but they say just a little something like a snack. So like some snap peas and hummus or something like that. And don't worry, since this is nutrition, we're going to be sharing recipes. So might even do a cooking segment on hummus. So number 14 is anemia. So anemia. Anemia is a protein deficiency. It's also anemia is pretty much low red blood cells, but because in your body, if you don't eat enough protein, you can get anemia. Yes, it's low. Mallory said it's low iron. Yes, you get iron and you get all these nutrients from the food you eat. So if you don't eat a lot of protein, you can become anemic. So anemia is a protein deficiency, and you can be born with it as well. It's a protein deficiency, and it causes reduced oxygen blood flow. Reduce oxygen flow to the body's organs, sorry. So that is what anemia is. Anemia may be caused. So that's why vegans and vegetarians have to be extremely, extremely cautious with their diet, because if they're not eating enough protein, they can become anemic due to that. Now, I'm not saying like all vegetarians and vegans have to go eat a steak or else they're going to be unhealthy. They can find protein in you can find protein in plants. I know chickpeas have a ton of protein in them. And also, so they just have to be careful on where they get their protein substances from. And anemia you can also be born with it. You have to take iron supplements, anemia, but you can also cause yourself to have anemia. So this is the anemia we're talking about is from you not eating enough protein. And the reason why it's caused the oxygen from the body. The reason why it does that is because, like we said, anemia is low iron. Low iron means low blood cell count as well. So low red blood cell count means, remember how we said oxygen to and from the heart? That's what red blood cells do. The red blood cells aren't carrying enough oxygen. So to your organs, and that's why they do that. Monica said spinach is great in iron. Yes, spinach is wonderful. Like a nice spinach salad. Mm-hmm. Just to let y'all know, I would eat before all of these lives. We're going to be talking about food. Number 15 is lactose. So I know a lot of people are lactose intolerant, so this is going to be interesting. We're going to learn more about lactose because a lot of people, you can say you're lactose intolerant or you can say you're anemic, but some people really don't know what these words actually mean. So lactose is a sugar present in milk. That is the definition of it. That is what lactose is. So lactose is just a sugar present in milk. And there's like weird things. There's sugars in everything, pretty much. There's sugars in milk, as you can obviously see. There's sugars in fruits. So, and the whole like tomato a fruit thing. It is a fruit. So, oh yes, black beans are good for protein. Cassie said she will only eat spinach fresh. Yes, like I said, the different types, they say to eat everything fresh versus cooked or frozen, just because whenever you cook or freeze it or do anything to it, it kind of erases more and more of the nutritious factor in it. So, lactose, sugar present in milk. And of course, they have lactose-free, which they just took out the lactose, and they have coconut milk and all those good types of milks. Almond, soy. I watched a video on how to make your own almond milk. It's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Our last vocab word is sucrose. Number 16 is sucrose.
Yes, Victoria, it is.
Oh, yeah. It's good. You're welcome. Sucrose is a compound which is the chief component of cane or beet sugar. I have to do not disturb sign up there. So sucrose is a compound in which the chief, it's the chief components in cane and beet sugar. So that way you kind of understand a little bit more about sucrose. I think it's more easier to know like where it came from to kind of understand it better. So sucrose, and this is our last vocab word. And then Katie can help us go over the good news. We have some good news today.
Also, Mallory, there is lactic acid in mussels, but the thing is, lactic acid as in like a acid for, let's say, chemical peels or something like that, that's going to be a acid that's derived from lactose. So it just depends on the context we're talking about.
Fun fact, the reason why you work out and your muscles are sore is because of a lactic acid buildup in your muscles. So that is the reason why you get sore. Oh, it's beet, Monica, B-E-E-T, not beef. So that is our vocab word. Here's the good news, Katie, if you want to start one off. I got 3 good newses for y'all today.
Let me start with the bottom one.
Okay. So here's the good news for today.
Dunkin' is selling donut and decoration kits.
I thought that was fun. It's pretty fun to decorate your own donuts.
Right.
They give you the icing and sprinkles and everything. All right. A family-owned greenhouse donated $1 million in orchids to all the mothers for Mother's Day.
All right. And mom stages beach day in her bathroom for her kids
Because they wanted to go to the beach.
Me too.
Oh, where is Dunkin'? So it's Dunkin' Donuts, but for some reason they didn't want to just be known for donuts, so they just made it Dunkin'. So, yeah. They did that like a few years ago, but everyone just called them Dunkin' Donuts, so. But that is all we have today. Make sure that you get these 16 vocab words just because for your own good, so that way you kind of understand more of the 12 to 1 lesson. We'll be back with a live from 12 to 1, so you can take nutrition notes on that. Remember, those notes you have to be turned in from the 12 to 1, like we said in the schedule. So I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. I'm going to give you all the extra 15 minutes to make sure that you have these and to get ready from the 12 to 1 lesson because it's going to be some fun stuff. So you can do your final roll call right now. Remember, don't forget first name, last initial, school, and time. So.
Oh yeah, way better internet connection.
I didn't see the little, you're about to be kicked off live
in the corner. Mine did it the other day, and I was like,
all right, bye everyone. See y'all from 12 to 1.